In this video, a game by GM Hans Niemann against Moldovan Grandmaster Iordachescu. Very interesting game, and why did I pick a Hans Niemann game? Well, even Fabiano Caruana is saying Hans is a very interesting player. Of course, he's been in the news lately due to the St. Louis game against Carlsen and the controversy. But let's stick to the chess. 1d4. Let's go to the game. So that was a rapid game, but very instructive game. And Hans Niemann likes the London system. Here we go through the game. And this is very classic. You're going to have knight f3, castle, a4. That's a London system setup. All of these moves have been played. And here in this position, we have black choosing a hedgehog system. As you can see, you have bishop b7, bishop e7, the knights like that. That's a very solid structure that you can find in the Sicilian structure with black, sometime in the English game, and here against the London system. This position is quite classic, as I said, when white plays the London. And we have a game here going with knight c4, queen c7, knight fd2, and bishop f8, played by Andrew Tang white against Magnus Carlsen black. And eventually, Carlsen played e5 and won the game. Now, in this position, Hans Niemann played bishop h2, which makes a lot of sense to remove the bishop in case black targets the bishop by e5 or knight h5. Now in this position, it's been played many times, and in the game, black chooses knight f8. I think a right move would be bishop f8 to prepare e5, and let's say knight c4, queen c7. That has been played in games previously. Another thing you could do in this position is start with queen c7, same idea. Knight c4, h6, bishop f1, bishop c6. Here, knight e3 was played by Aronian, and black played b5, which is very important. And after taking and taking, black suddenly has been more space and can maybe play queen b7 and eventually b4, maybe later bishop f8, e5, and black is fine. So this is a good plan for black. In the game, as I said, knight f8 played. It's not a mistake, but I think it was better to put the bishop there and the queen on c7. That's what I would play. Queen b3, h6, a5. Of course, you cannot take because the bishop on b7 is hanging. b5. And now we have a classic position once again. And here, the computer recommends bishop f1. So it's a bishop c6, c4. And the idea would be that if black were to take here, you can take with the queen or with the knight. Now instead in this position, Hans plays c4. Now, taking here is possible because if you take there, I will take on d3. Now, knight c4 is played, which makes sense. And here, take. So, why did the computer in this position recommend bishop f1? So that after c4, the queen could cover. But Hans plays c4 directly. And now, we have a very damaged pawn structure with white. And in this position, that's the first mistake made by Iordachescu, the Moldovan Grandmaster. In this position, rook b8 was a move, and knight d5 was a move. And there's no way to win or get the advantage for white. The game continues. But here, black played d5. Now, feel free to pause the video. What would you do here with white That's a critical moment after d5. So hopefully you could just figure it out for yourself, and I'll go ahead with the game. And when I look at this game, right, I would say, well, d5 is weakening the e5 square. So thinking knight e5 would be great for white, because that knight here is tremendous. But in the game, knight b6 was played, and that's really why d5 was a mistake. So now let me explain. Knight e5 first, bishop d6, and now what's next? If you play rook ec1 like in the game, knight h5. Let's say you come here, f6, and the knight has to go. The knight cannot stay there, and the position is fine. Now the computer on bishop d6 says try king h1, and now you could take like that. And here queen g5, let's say f4, queen h5. You can see the queen is trying to come here, the knight will come to g6, maybe h4. Black is fine because these pawns over here create weaknesses for white. So d5 is a mistake, not because of knight e5, but because of knight b6. So let's see. Now remember the bishop on h2 is covering the long diagonal. So there's only one square for the rook. Rook a7 played by black. And here, rook ac1. Now that knight on b6 is great as well. And what is the threat? Rook c8. And the queen here has no square. So let me demonstrate. Let's say you ignore the threat. Rook c8 wins the queen because of the bishop on g2. The bishop, which was on f4, retreated, but that's a very strong bishop in the London system. So that wins. Now let's say if you play knight d7 like that, same thing, rook c8, and the queen is lost. That's game over. So in the game, rook c1, very logical, very simple idea. There's no way for black to counter that. So black play bishop d6. Now feel free to pause the video, take a few seconds or a couple of minutes, and how do you continue with white here? And the answer is you take first knight c8, and knight c8 wins the exchange and the game. So very important, in this position, you don't go rook c8, you don't go knight c8, because then the bishop would take here. You exchange first, and then finish with a nice fork on the 8th rank. So that knight here went from c4, b6, c8. That's complete domination and great play by Hans Niemann. Now I will continue. Of course, there's still a bit of work to be done, but at that level, that was very clear that black has no counterplay. And here, black blundered the queen, and there was basically losing on the spot. But even if you try queen f5, which was the move, there's actually no way to survive. There will be some move here, and you are completely dominating. The bishop on f1 covers h3. Your rook on d5 is strong. Rook ad1 is coming. That knight is pinned. There's no way to survive this at grandmaster level. So the key was in this position. Black could continue with these moves, and that move decided the game. Very instructive play. Hans Niemann is definitely an expert in a bishop f4 London system. That was a rapid game played in Dubai, and a nice win by the young American grandmaster. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.